And this one is a re-implementation of their previous game, which was called My Trolley Town. And I did take a look at the differences between these two games, and I think they've made some pretty significant improvements. First of all, the artwork is completely redone, making this version a lot prettier than that original game. But they've also completely revamped the rules, not only streamlining the game, but also reducing the setup and teardown time. They've also added a solo mode for anyone that's interested in that, and also a hard mode that can be played by any of the players that are a little bit more experienced with the game. And you are able to have some players playing on the hard mode and some players playing on the easier mode. And I personally think that this game looks like a lot of fun, and it's also super easy to get to the table and teach to other people. And for those reasons, this one is my own personal pick of the week. And the way that you play this game is that each of the players are essentially trying to build up their little town made up of buildings and tracks, where players are going to be generating resources from those buildings and then using those tracks to move them to other buildings, where you might convert them into other resources, which you might then be able to convert into victory points. Something I really like about the resources in this game is that you are essentially trying to convert those into victory points at some point in order to try and win the game, but you're also going to be using those various resources in order to buy more tiles. So it is going to be a bit of a trade-off when you're deciding to try and convert those into victory points or convert those into certain resources so you can buy the tiles that you think will set you up best for the following rounds. But as I mentioned, some of these tiles are going to be generating new resources while others convert them into other things. But in order to get those resources from one tile to another, they do need to be connected with a rail. Players only start with 2 resource generation tiles at the start of the game, which is going to be producing both wood and stone, and then players are going to be using those resources to first purchase more tiles and railroads in order to expand their city. Every round is going to be going through a production phase where your production generating tiles are going to be generating their resources. Then you'll be able to spend those resources to build tiles in order to add more production tiles, more tracks, more resource conversion tiles, or even special tiles that might allow you to teleport goods to other areas of your town, reduce building costs of certain buildings, or even just score you outright victory points for having that tile. Of course, you may not want to spend all your resources because you then move into the transportation phase, and any of the resources that you still have on your tiles, you'll be able to move along the tracks to the other buildings in order to take their associated actions. This usually involves processing those goods into other goods or into additional actions, or of course, victory points, which you're trying to get in order to win the game. The game continues like this over 4 rounds, with each round having new tiles drawn and put into the display that players are going to be able to purchase. And the player with the most victory points at the end of the 4 rounds wins the game. And if you're interested in this one, definitely check it out, and I'll have it linked in the description down below.